As you know, Sue, I've just gone back from a consumerist orgy at Costco, and I feel absolutely rotten and compromised. But we can talk about that in the episode. Anyway, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tell Me Where I'm Going Wrong, a podcast that's hosted by two exes who are good friends. And my name's Josh. I'm one of the hosts. The other one is Sean. How are you? How are you this week, Sean?
I'm good. Like you. I feel compromised by every time I go into a shop, especially a multinational shop. But something happened to me. I'll just give you a quick update. I went for a long walk. I'm trying to do 10,000 steps today. And I went for a long walk over to Islington, Highbury in Islington, near the garage, the legendary music venue. And I needed a haircut. And I saw a barber there, and I thought, I'll just go in and get a haircut. It's such a mistake to go to a new barber after going to the same one for so long. So I got this haircut, and where I have my part, I normally have a very, very thin line shaved, like a gap, very, very thin. So I have it shaved at the side and then a thin line. This barber did a massive line. My hair looks...
Now you have to show us.
I'm going to show you, but apologies for anyone who's not watching. They're only listening. Maybe if you want to see the atrocious line shaved into the side of my head, you can go to YouTube. It's like a 12-year-old boy on I don't even know. Like kids get like tracks shaved into their heads. And I don't know how long it's going to take to grow back.
That's hilarious. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, that's real. Yeah, that's very Abs from 5 in 1996.
Well, 98, 99, I'd say.
Whatever.
But look at that. So if I face... So I'm going through life for the next 2 weeks, just looking straight ahead. I'm not allowed to look at my shoes. I can't turn to the side.
You're not going to look left and right when you cross a road.
No. And if I drop something, I've lost it. I leave it. I step over it and keep walking.
That barber was paying you dirt.
Dust, you mean?
Dust? Okay.
Dust.
All right.
Are you trying to use luscious massacre?
I'm trying to stay relevant. I'm trying to stay relevant.
Getting it wrong on the first go.
It's been a long day. I'm exhausted from my Costco expedition.
Well, what were you doing in
So my
Costco?
friend Lex is having a birthday party tomorrow night, and she has a Costco membership through her work. And she said, any chance you fancy driving me to Costco? And I was like, oh, yeah, I love her. I haven't been to Costco since I lived in Mexico. And so it was so weird, like walking up and down the aisles of Costco. It felt like I was in Mexico, but obviously it wasn't. Anyway, I know we're going to talk about consumerism.
Well, before we get on to consumerism, what are you wearing on your head?
I'm wearing... Thank you for noticing. It's a very subtle...
It's very hard not to.
So for people listening, not watching, I'm wearing a bright pink glittery cap that has a patch on it that says Dolly. And it's a Dolly Parton cap. It's official. It's from Dollywood. My friend Harry went to Dollywood about, 2 years ago, I would say. And he brought me back this cap. And I love Dolly. Obviously, it would have been quite hard to escape the news that Dolly turned 80 this past week, which will be 2 weeks ago by the time this episode comes out. And so in honor of Dolly's 80th birthday, I thought I'd wear my Dolly cap.
Well, in honor of Dolly's 80th birthday, I'm planning on having a hard candy Christmas this year.
Yeah, very good. And even though Christmas has just passed, and I've also got I have this every week, but I don't know if you can really see it. It's a Dolly Parton coaster.
Oh, yeah. Is that what you're always clanging around on?
So this is there we go. For old time's sake.
Is that shirt, does it have, that cap you're wearing, the cap you're wearing, does it have where it's made written in it? Was it made in Pigeon Forge?
Oh, I don't know. The reason I wore a cap in the first place is because my hair is a disaster.
So you can't take it off.
I don't want to take it off. I can take it off camera and have a look if you want me to. But
let us know after.
I'm not going to reveal my my hair, even though I know I asked you to.
In in the comments under this video when it comes out, put a little note saying,
where it was made.
yeah. So, like last week we talked about Madonna, and we got a lot of comments from Madonna fans saying, how dare we even ask the question, will Madonna be
we
remembered in
got
100 years?
Mm-hmm.
They paid us dust, Sue. But
Not dirt.
not dust. And
They're
what makes me
disrespecting the
wonder
dolls. So.
makes me wonder about Dolly. Like, is Dolly more likely to be remembered long term than Madonna, do you think? As a cultural figure, an icon, somebody who has worldwide fame that far reaches beyond the next few generations, who do you think out of Madonna or Dolly Parton would have the most longevity?
I don't think we could really say. I think there are so many variables, and I was thinking about this after when I was editing last week's episode. I was thinking about Tiffany because we talked about Tiffany being featured in the last series of Stranger Things. And I thought, because we're talking obviously about legacy and what we leave behind and everything, and I thought it's really interesting because if Tiffany hadn't been featured in that Stranger Things, she probably would have faded quite quickly into obscurity within a generation or two. I think that in 50 years' time, very few people will know who Tiffany was. I mean, she'll be dead, we'll be dead. Well, presumably.
I hope someone's let Tiffany know that when her date of death will be.
Well, she's not going to live to 110, is she?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, but Stranger Things has become such a huge show that I think people will still watch it in 50 years' time. And she features so prominently in that last series that it will be, and Kate Bush, I think, maybe has more of a lasting legacy than Tiffany.
Yeah.
In and of herself, her own achievements, her own career, her own output. Whereas Tiffany could have quite quickly faded into obscurity. And I think it's interesting now that because Stranger Things will be popular for the next 100 years, I would imagine, Tiffany will, therefore, her legacy.
Do you think Stranger Things will be popular or famous for 100 years?
I do.
I think we're getting more into things having big impact, but then dissipating very quickly. I think that's what's happening.
It endured. It's been like what, 9 years?
I know, but 9 years compared to 100 is very different. You think of how big like a band like Take That were in the UK. They were bigger than Stranger Things was. Like, they were massive. In 100 years, most people will not know.
Yeah, but Stranger Things was huge all over the world. Take That weren't huge all over the world.
So is Dolly huge enough?
Sorry, I know completely.
All over the world to have some sort of longevity, 150 years in the future? Will people know who Dolly Parton is when you mention her name, and will the songs be recognizable? Okay, so let's start with that then. What do you think is the most recognizable, if not one, and maybe top 3 or top 5 Dolly Parton songs that are most recognizable to the general public?
Well, Jolene,
yeah,
for sure.
Straight away, number 1.
Yeah. I know a lot of people will associate it with Whitney, but I'd still think that her song, I Will Always Love You, will probably be number 2.
Well, I think also that is her legacy to claim as well. I mean, she wrote it. Like, that song, even if people don't know who Dolly Parton is, they will know what that song is.
Yeah. 9 to 5, I think, is up there. That's what I was going to show you before. That's on my coaster. It's got the opening lyrics of 9 to 5. Tumble out of bed and stumble to the kitchen. Pour myself a cup of ambition, which is such a good line. So brilliant.
So you've got 3 songs there.
3.
What else have you got?
I don't know. I have no idea what sort of in terms of global popularity, but my top 5, I think, Light of a Clear Blue Morning, or I Can See the Light of a Clear Blue Morning. I don't know if that, I think that's the full title. And I think I don't think of it really as a Dolly song, but Islands in the Stream it was obviously a duet, but
Yeah.
and she didn't write it. But I think probably that's one of the songs most associated with her. What about you? What do you think the top five?
I think what you're saying, the ones you've listed, I think are quite clearly the biggest hits. I'm just having a look. You know, if you go onto Spotify and you
Mm,
look, and it says the most popular 5 songs
mm,
or the most popular 10 songs.
mm,
Okay, so the ones that are currently like in the heaviest rotation at Spotify users. So it changes, but it
mm,
kind of stays the same. Number 1 is Jolene.
mm,
Number 2 is Islands in the Stream.
mm.
Number 3 is 9 to 5. Number 4 is Hard Candy Christmas,
Okay,
which
maybe that's because Christmas has just been.
yeah, I think every year that comes up as a Christmas song. Maybe it's not like is it a perennial? Is that the right word?
Yeah, or
What
year
some
round.
Yeah, it's not a year round top
Mm.
10. But then interestingly, number 5 is a Beyonce song, which
Uh,
Dolly is on. It's called
yeah,
Tyrant. It
yeah, yeah.
must be from that Cowboy Carter album. But then there's something there called There Was Jesus. So I didn't even think of that, but Dolly has such a broad range of
Yeah,
appeal to people that she's even
yeah.
got the religious fan base, and she's
Mhm,
got a lot of spiritual, if not religious songs.
mhm,
And so that comes in at number 6. Number 7 is her version of I Will Always Love You. Number 8, Here You Come Again.
mm. Which she didn't
That
write, and so I love
hmm
the song, but I
Yeah,
don't think
great
of it
song.
as a true Dolly song. Same with Islands in the Stream.
Number 9 is another seasonal entry, and I don't know this, but Cuddle Up, Cozy Down Christmas.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
then number 10 is Light of a Clear Blue Morning. So
Okay.
that's I think you were quite close with what you would pick. They're definitely
Mm,
featured in the top 10. What's what if you think of Dolly, like you just have the thought of Dolly, what
mm.
do you picture in your brain? What comes it doesn't have to be a visual, but what do you feel or think or visualize?
I think she's just like the closest thing we have to a religious figure. I think she's
Yeah.
like an angel, you know, she radiates love and warmth and music and um just loveliness.
Yeah.
She and she might not be that at all. It might be such a clever marketing thing, but I just don't think it is. She does so much good with her privilege and with her money.
Yeah.
Her imagination library and donating to, you know, I can't remember which company it was that created one of the COVID vaccines.
Mhm.
Um, she just seems to do so much good stuff. Um,
Yeah.
that I just I don't I can't believe that she wouldn't actually be a lovely lovely person.
I also really enjoy uh, the live videos of her and Miley performing together. I think
Hmm.
their voices sound really good together.
Yeah,
Dolly is Miley's godmother, is that right?
godmother and a cousin as well, distant cousin.
Cousin? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they didn't know that until quite recently. I think they did like a DNA, 23andMe or something, or and they found out that they're cousins as well. Um,
Okay.
I
Well,
love that.
long live Dolly then.
I love that Dolly impersonator Kelly O'Brien. She's Australian,
Oh,
and I
okay.
saw her. I know I talked about her on the podcast before, but she's quite funny. I saw her interviewed, um, and it's so odd how she can switch between Dolly because when she
Yeah,
speaks like Dolly, she sounds exactly like Dolly. Like if you close your eyes, you would not believe it wasn't Dolly. And
yeah.
then she'll just change back into her like Australian accent, and it's really freaky to see. But she says, Dolly's not a good dancer. She does her sort of chicken wings,
Yeah.
which is true. Dolly's not. She can't be good at everything.
Well, she's got enough other talents that it makes up for that. So the hat is not a purchase by you, but somebody else purchased it.
Mm-hmm.
And this takes us to a section we're going to talk about now on the pod, which is a little bit upsetting, but we both watched a documentary It's 2 years old now, the documentary, but it's available on Netflix if anybody wants to watch it. It's called Buy Now: The Shopping Conspiracy. It's a 2024 British documentary about consumerism and just how people are tricked into spending a lot of money by corporations, and it is a problem that is barreling out of control. Well, has barreled out of control, I would say. I don't think that there's really any coming back. But what were your feelings after watching that documentary?
Well, I thought it was very, very sobering and depressing. You and I talk a lot about capitalism and consumerism, and
Mhm.
we like to think that we're doing good things for the planet and for society and stuff like that, recycling, avoiding
Try not
animal.
try not to laugh here, like Miss Costco over there.
I know, right? But then you see a documentary like that and you think, well, we are fucked. Like humanity is absolutely fucked, and we don't deserve this planet.
What were
We
some of the
are
shocking things in that for you? Like, I mean, there were so many things to take away, but what were some of the things that jumped out as you as shocking?
just the fact that it's cheaper for companies to destroy perfectly good merchandise
Mhm.
than store it or sell it off cheap or give it to people because they don't want to cheapen their brand. And perfectly good, whatever it is, if it's electronics, clothes, food, cosmetics, stuff that is there's absolutely nothing wrong with it at all, and it's
Yep.
destroyed by companies. I mean, it's just disgusting. It's
Yeah. I
completely
mean,
obscene.
those scenes of showing clothing, whether it's been donated or whether it's surplus stock, being sent to abroad or other countries
Mm,
in the name of charity, but it
right.
becoming an environmental, um, I don't know, disaster. Like these bags and shipping containers of clothes being washed up and spilt onto beaches and in fields, and there just being thousands and thousands of items of clothing on a single beach. Choking the waterways, killing the marine life, and
Mm,
just destroying the natural environment. That was very shocking to me. Also, the interviews with people or the social media clips of people who work in fast food outlets telling stories about how they had to take food and destroy it,
mm,
throw it out, but also not only just throw it out because people might dumpster dive to get it, but
mm.
like pour chemicals on it or pour water on it or waste coffee
Yeah.
grounds on it so
What was
people wouldn't be able to eat it.
which chain was it? Was it like Panda Express or something? Or I can't remember. It was like a Chinese food chain. And they were saying at the end of the night, they would put all of the leftover food into a huge blender, just blend it up into some disgusting muck
Yeah.
because they would rather that than give it to people who need it, like people without a fixed address and stuff like that. It's just awful.
Well, I don't want to spill anyone's tea, so to speak, but um, Hill was telling me about when he worked at an OXXO in
Mm,
Mexico when he was in college. And that is like a 7-Eleven or a Quickie Mart if you're a Simpsons fan. And
mhm,
he had to, they have the machines with the hot dogs going around on the
yeah.
rollers. At the end of the day, if they were, the hot dogs would sometimes sit there for 12 hours. And after a
Mm,
certain amount of time, they had to dispose of them, but they weren't allowed to eat them. They weren't allowed to give them away to like poor people or people in need. They had to put them in a plastic bag like in the back of the walk-in freezer, and then somebody would come, like either the area manager or every now and then someone would come and count the waste sausages to make sure that what the hot dogs they sold and the hot dogs that are in this plastic bag for waste all match up to the amount that was sent to the store. And then after that, a massive big bag, once the bag was full, that would be disposed of. And these sausages were like months old. And it is just sickening. I mean, that's a twisted, sick story, isn't it? Like that's,
mm.
but also
It's yeah.
Another thing, we're talking about the clothing and the shoes being sent to these countries and destroying the natural habitat.
Mm,
Also, all of this electronic waste being sent to countries because they're, countries where people need money more. And
mhm.
so either corporations or the government will take electronic waste, and then people are paid next to nothing to sit there and smash it up
Yeah,
and inhale toxic fumes and particles from
yeah,
electronics.
yeah.
And
It's
one of the reasons why there is so much electronic waste is that one of my favorite terms at the moment is the planned obsolescence,
mhm,
where things are designed to break, so you have to replace them, and
mhm.
and things are planned to not be repairable or fixable, so
Yeah.
you have to throw them away. And so we are living in this ticking time bomb situation where
Mm.
we're going to be in a point of no return soon, right?
Yeah, and I it it made me think, and I'm sure it will make a lot of other people who watch it think, what is the point of trying to do anything good in a system that has doomed us all to
Yeah.
annihilation and toxification and destruction? It's it anything we do seems futile, and it's a very, very depressing thing to watch. But I think people should watch it. We should be aware. But what can we do? What can we do? Like,
Well,
seriously, I mean,
one of the what I mean, I was going to say one of the most shocking things, but it was also shocking. But one of the shocking things for me was that person who was an expert in plastic recycling going through a recycling bin and saying,
yeah,
none of this is recyclable.
no,
They pretend
no,
it is, and they put the little arrows on it.
yeah,
But
it's all
often,
greenwashing.
the plastic will be collected, like what we recycle at home. And this sounds almost like a conspiracy, but it's true.
Mm,
What we what we get rid of and in our recycling often gets taken and buried in landfill or
yeah, or
incinerated.
burned. Yeah,
And that's what they consider recycling it. Like it doesn't get it was some tiny amount of plastic that you actually send off gets
yeah,
recycled and turned into other plastic.
and
And
go
well,
on.
you were just saying, what can we do? Obviously, the bottom line is the consumer. We're not responsible solely, but we must be able to enact some sort of change by making demands or changing our habits, demanding better packaging to start with.
I don't think we can change the system. It's got to come. It shouldn't be down to individuals, and I actually don't think individuals really can change the system that much. It's got to come from the top down, but I don't think it will. And I found it very sad and very, yeah.
But I mean,
I felt quite hopeless after watching it.
well,
Um,
part of the solution, and I mean, that's a real turnaround for you because you're normally on top of the world, Sue. But
well,
um,
I'm normally, can do.
you're normally kicking your heels up, Sue.
Hmm.
Shallow, shallow, little girl. Um, I I also think part of the solution is something that people just won't do. We're past the point of no return, which is buy much less and
Yeah.
buy better quality and buy it much less. Don't stop buying shit, but that's easier said than done, right? I mean,
Yeah,
imagine telling people to buy less stuff. I mean,
I
it
know.
just seems like a ludicrous proposition.
Consumerism is out of control. I think things like plastic water bottles should just be banned. Like single-use plastic,
Yeah.
you know, should be banned. But of course, I say that, but then my life would change drastically without single-use plastics, and I avoid single-use plastics as much as I
Yeah.
think I can, but my life would still change drastically without single-use plastics. And um, but I just wanted to quickly show you. I just had to. I forgot to. I was going through, I was talking last week about bringing stuff back from my aunt's house, and I
Yes.
found a copy of a letter that my brother wrote to me and my mum in March 1992. He was in Bali, Indonesia. So
Yeah.
1992, I don't know how many years ago was that. 24 years ago, 34
30,
years ago.
34 years ago.
And there's one line in it. He says, is it true that some supermarkets stay open on Sundays now? And I read that line and I was like, God, that is so funny. Because, yeah, obviously when I was a kid, shops wouldn't open on Sundays.
Yeah.
And that concept to people growing up now must seem so ridiculous.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I worked in Queensland in the 90s, the early 90s, I worked in a shoe shop, and the shop was open for a half day on Saturday. So I would go to work from, I don't know, like 9 till 12:30 on Saturday. And then it wasn't allowed. The trading laws prohibited retail stores from being open all day Saturday, and then they were, of course, shut on Sunday as well.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, if you don't have some sort of 24-hour shop, I mean, there are 24-hour Tesco's, aren't there?
Yeah.
So you can go and
It's
buy.
so wild to think
Yeah,
how.
you can go and buy a like a widescreen TV or a flat screen TV at 4 a.m. that
Yeah.
has planned obsolescence built into it.
Yeah.
And then in 2.5 years later, when it's redundant, you can go back at 4 a.m. again and buy more shit that's going to break
But
and you're going to throw out.
reading that line in that letter, it reminded me, I remember when Sunday trading was permitted by
Yeah.
law. And at first, it was very, very select stores only were allowed to open on Sundays, and it was very short trading hours. Now, clearly remember, it was things like hardware stores were not allowed to trade on Sundays. Only certain supermarkets or something. I can't remember exactly, but I clearly remember on the news there was a hardware store that was defying the law and opening on Sundays. And what they were doing is, if someone wanted to buy a step ladder, they would have all these like bags of groceries in the store, and they were like, "We can't sell you this ladder, but if you buy this bag of oranges for £15, we'll throw in a free ladder."
Yeah.
Just so ridiculous way of getting around the trading laws. But isn't it wild to think that in a relatively short amount of time, consumerism has become king? It's become the absolute supreme need in society to consume.
It's our spiritual or religious framework for society. And you don't even have to worry about Tesco at 4 a.m. or hardware shops selling you oranges. You just have to look at your phone and click a button, and something will show up to your front door tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you'll probably use it a few times and then throw it out.
And I don't use Amazon. I always thought they're just an awful company, and I hate the throwaway nature of it, the packaging and everything like that.
Yeah.
But whoop-de-doo, like that's not going to fucking change the world, is it? Just because a few people boycott Amazon. I still buy stuff online, but not through Amazon. No, but I try not to overuse it. But of course, sometimes that's the only place you can get certain things without traveling all over town. So I don't know. I think we're doomed. Humanity's doomed.
Yeah, but we've been socialized into behavior patterns that wouldn't be impossible to unpick, but it would take a collective action to do it. It would be very hard for you as an individual to not use single-use plastic, to not shop with evil corporations that pollute the earth, not shop with places that pay workers badly or exploit animals or degrade the environment. It's tough. So it really takes collective action, and that's where we're fucked. It's like with everything wrong in the world, getting enough people to care about something is the key, and it is also the roadblock. It's not easy.
And you can't ignore the role that economic forces play into this, because if people had more disposable income, they might be more willing to curb their rampant consumerism and buy better quality things that could be repaired. But people don't have that sort of money. If you only have limited income, which most people do, 99% of people do have to watch their spending. you can only
Yeah,
afford to buy these things with what's the term? Obsolescence, the
planned
planned
obsolescence.
obsolescence.
Yeah. Do you know, one thing that I felt about that, one other thing I felt about that documentary, where there were whistleblowers or people who had seen the light, like somebody who worked for Amazon who doesn't
mm,
anymore and is an
mm.
activist, or somebody else, I don't know what that man did, who was sitting on the beach all the time saying he's made it his life mission
Oh,
to
he worked for Apple, didn't he? He didn't. He designed airport the original air. What are they called?
AirPods.
AirPods. AirPods. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't have like I don't know if we were meant to feel pleased with those people, but I can't help resent that they probably all made quite a lot of money in
Mm,
those roles, and then they turned around and said, "Oh yeah, this is bad. I'm not
yeah.
going to do this anymore." Like they would have made a lot of money,
Yeah.
and it was a little bit annoying that there are grassroots organizers and resistors to environmental terrorism who are murdered by corporations
Yeah.
and never listened to and invisibilized and silenced and disappeared.
Hmm.
And we're meant to, like, it was just once again this problem, which is a global problem, mostly affecting right now poor
Hmm.
people. We were holding up these, like, mostly white or you privileged people at the least
Mm.
to be the champion voices of it. There didn't seem to be a lot of voices.
Well, it makes for good TV, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I
But
suppose that's who they were aiming the market. It was marketed at people like that. Um,
yeah.
well, talking about single-use plastic,
Mm.
I am organising an event in London in September called London Vegan Beer Fest. We mentioned it briefly at the end of last week's episode, and I think that this event is going to be a no single-use plastic event
Fantastic.
because it's in a site in Tower Hamlets borough,
Hmm.
and they have a policy of large-scale events not being allowed to use single-use plastic.
Excellent.
But we used to run London Vegan Beer Fest together back in the
Hmm.
day. We started it in 2013 and it ran every year for 6 years in London, as well as going to other cities around the UK. But we used to, most years, we used these recyclable plastic cups
Hmm.
that people would keep as mementos and take away with them. And then if we had any left, we would sometimes use them the next year or we would recycle them. How do we get around something like that? How do we get around, like, obviously they're not single use plastic that's just getting thrown away. They are having multiple uses.
Mm.
There are people that write to me to tell me they've still got their plastic cups.
Yeah.
And so I feel a bit better about that.
I feel like I've still got about 50 of them under my bed in case you
Oh,
ever do
really?
need
You've
any.
got
Yeah.
more? I would
Yeah.
love that.
Okay.
So what do you, how do, is that acceptable? That use of
Well,
plastic?
no, it's not, but we live in the real world and it's better to do that than obviously have single-use plastic. There are other options, I suppose, but they are, again, like I was saying, economic forces
Yeah.
play a large part in this. You could do glass, but glass is much more expensive. There's
Well,
much more risk of breakage.
yeah, I'm also not allowed to do glass at this
Oh,
site. It's a
okay.
sporting field and
Oh, so yeah,
outside of event times. And so, there
mm,
are young people running around with no
yeah,
shoes on. So we
yeah,
can't have any glass on
yeah,
site. Also, glass from a logistics point of view, you'll remember one year we did do glass at
yeah,
one of the events and we had to have it brought in on like shipping pallets. And
yeah.
once it was there,
So
I was giving away boxes of glasses at the end because I couldn't
yeah,
carry them.
yeah.
Um,
And then what
also,
else? I mean, you could do
yeah,
stainless steel cups, but that's odd for a beer fest.
yeah.
And I
I
think
mean,
the beer purists might not like the taste of the
no,
metal.
no. You can also do, like, the very first year we did it. We did do plastic throwaway cups. The very first year we did it,
Oh,
and
but with the logo on or
yeah,
something.
the logo on it.
Yeah.
And you can get plastic cups now. Things have changed a lot since 2013. You can get
Mm,
plastic cups that are 100% degradable, that are made either from seaweed or like plant. But
mm,
I can't have those optics, and the council don't want me to have those optics of thousands and thousands, maybe 10,000 cups being thrown away.
And also, I'm not saying this is all of those companies, but a lot of those companies that make those products are greenwashing. They may be compostable, but only under very, very certain conditions at very specific temperatures, very specific, levels of humidity or whatever. So it's not like you could just throw them in a ditch and they would rot down to compost in a
Yeah.
year.
So
So
London Vegan Beer Fest it was a really enjoyable event. It was a lot of hard work for us, but it was a big celebration of independent breweries and independent food traders,
mhm.
and it was a real community event. It was very DIY. We had no idea what we were doing. We didn't have any budget, and it was a lot of fun. What are some good memories you have of running those events?
Well, I don't remember if we did it in the first year. It may have only been from the second year. It might have been from the first year. But I came up with I coined the term karaoke. Do you remember? Because we wanted to do karaoke and we thought, why not? Why don't we raise money for charity at the same time? So I
Hmm.
coined the phrase karaoke, or the term karaoke. And so we used to run karaoke and collect money for. I'm trying to remember who we raised money for. Did we do Sea Shepherd one year? And
Yeah, we did Sea Shepherd a
um,
couple of years, and we did
what's that?
Isla Urbana,
Yeah, it's
uh,
a banner.
which is
And
a water security charity in Mexico City.
but I have lots of good memories of karaoke, singing with people and friends and family members and stuff like that. I didn't generally used to drink at the events because, because I barely drink, Sue.
Well,
No,
our
but because I
our
would
regular
normally,
viewers will know that.
yes, exactly. And so because I would normally have to drive there with, the car loaded up with stuff and drive home and whatnot. So I never used to really drink. So I still used to enjoy myself, but I would feel like for maybe 3 days afterwards, I would feel absolutely run
Oh,
ragged because it
yeah.
was like we would get there at like 7 a.m. and leave at like 11 p.m. and
Maybe earlier. Like
yeah,
it was very physically demanding,
yeah,
and we didn't really run it in a way that it should have been run. We didn't do it in a smart way. We would just do a lot of the hard work ourselves. I can
yeah.
remember running the event and doing rubbish bin duty all through the event. So
Oh yeah, we
I
did
was
everything. We
yeah,
were like
everything.
loading
Run
in.
around. Someone would tell me, "Oh, that bin's overflowing," and I'd run and do
Yeah,
that. And then somebody else would need the power would go out somewhere, and I had to run and grab someone to help me reset the fuse, or I'd reset the fuses myself, or
yeah,
absolutely no training.
yeah.
But that's all
What's
changed.
some of your what are your favorite memories of it?
Something that I don't know if it's a favorite memory, but what something that was quite comical to me is that we were both, and I mean, I don't know how you identify, but I'm still fat, but we were
Oh,
fatter back then in the day. And you and your mum had this little Nissan Micra, this little car, hatchback car. And you and I, like two fat clowns in this little clown car, used to stuff it full.
it was comically small, that car.
We would stuff it full with like the plastic cups, t-shirts that we had,
T-shirts.
and tote bags, merch we made, and we'd drive to like because we did these events in Coventry and Sheffield and Manchester and Glasgow, and we would drive and up these motorways to save money instead of doing it like a normal person might do it or somebody who had the head screwed on. We would be driving, or you would be driving, so I can't drive, and it was good, but also bad. Like I have a lot of good memories of that, but it was very stressful. And
I remember one time driving up to Glasgow for the beer fest, and
yeah,
it was that Nissan Micra, and it was loaded up with shit. And maybe we'd stopped in Leeds on the way. I can't remember. We'd stopped somewhere, and then the next day we drove up. Is it the M? Oh, I can't remember. Whatever that motorway is that goes up
no, I
north
don't
of
know how.
Manchester up towards Glasgow.
Yeah.
And there's one bit when you once you're past the Lake District and sort of around Carlisle, I think there's it's like a very very exposed bit of motorway, And that part of the country obviously is known for having quite extreme, severe weather at times.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a particularly bad day, but the wind was so ferocious that we're in this. Effectively, it was like a tin can on wheels, that Nissan Micra. And even with us two in it and all the shit that we were taking up there, this wind was so strong. These gusts of wind were so strong that I'd be in one lane and then literally like the next second I would be 2 feet to the right because the wind was just like buffeting us in this little tin can. That was pretty hair raising. But
Tin roof rusted.
We live to tell the tale, I suppose.
And I think I enjoyed the Glasgow Beer Fest a lot. I thought they were a good vibe. People were friendly. Manchester was okay. It was a little bit stressful. I remember the Manchester ones being a bit stressful.
Now you want to talk about a long day. Fucking hell, that Manchester one. Because not only did we do the beer fest, for some ridiculous reason, we decided to do the queer vegan disco.
Oh, why
straight after it
did we do that?
Until 3 a.m. and then get up the next day and do the beer fest again. We made it a 2-day event. I mean, we were like a bit foolish in hindsight. But I also just want to say some of the people as well. Like, I have really, really fond memories of people like Chris, like Deborah D. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, obviously all the London vegans that we know.
Who did you say? Terry?
D, I said, but Terry as well. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And all the breweries that used to come along as well. Like,
yes.
I spoke to Chris, who used to run Bad Seed Brewery.
Oh yeah.
The other day, they came and did Manchester and Sheffield.
Yeah.
But they wound up Bad Seed Brewery, and he now works for Brass Castle, another vegan brewery who did every year for us, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to them about coming and serving at the London Vegan Beer Fest 2026. So
excellent.
If anyone's interested in finding out more, we can put a link to the URL underneath where you can just go and drop your email address to sign up for the newsletter and be the first people to find out about the festival. And it's very exciting, and it's all happening. September 19th, Saturday, September 19th.
Okay,
it's a lot of hard work bringing it back. Very different from when we used to do it. There's no, clown cars driving up the motorway. Like, it is serious money and organizing and jumping through hoops for the council. I have to really do it the right way, and it's a lot of responsibility, so that's scary. But I also know that it was a very beloved event. Like, people absolutely adored that event, and there's a lot of goodwill for it. So I'm sure it will be a huge success. And you'll be running the karaoke, won't you?
Okay, I was just going to be saying, will there be karaoke?
There will, maybe not karaoke, unless you want to consider me the charity. But
no, I think we should keep the charitable theme going.
Possibly. I'm looking at maybe partnering with Surge Animal Sanctuary as sort of our charity partner for the event. So yeah, that might be good. And but you'll run the karaoke.
I'll run the karaoke. Yeah, absolutely. I might sing a few Dolly songs.
Oh, great. Okay, so if you were going to do Dolly karaoke, what would be your first choice?
Well, the one I always do is Here You Come Again. Even though I said earlier I don't think of it that much as a Dolly song, I think it's a lovely song to sing. It's got some really nice, it's got some beautiful melodies and unusual changes in the melody as well. I think it's a great song.
And you wouldn't do Hard Candy Christmas?
No, that's a hard song to sing. I mean, I've sung it live, but it's a tricky one to do.
I mean, we did talk about Dolly earlier, but I think that's a real marker of how talented she is, that she makes it seem effortless.
Oh, I know.
And actually, people try and sing those songs, and it's such a skill that she's got.
And 9 to 5 is a fucking hard song to sing. There's the lyrics. I mean, it's so fast. It's not an easy song to do. So.
And what do you call it? Like, the pitch that she sings at? Is that the sort of the level of where her voice is at?
Yeah.
I don't know, what is that called? Pitch?
The range that she sings, or she doesn't have the range.
Yeah, she doesn't have the range.
Dolly does have the range.
But some of her songs, like when people sing and they'll go up to that higher level just sometimes through the song.
Uh-huh.
But she's just up there. You know what I mean? Like, and she's belting it out, but she's not, doesn't look like she's straining herself. Like, she's just so powerful.
She's an incredible singer. I know we need to wrap up. I just very quickly wanted to pay homage to Patsy King, who was an actor who died this week. She was the original governor, Erica Davidson, in Prisoner, also known as Prisoner Cell Block H. And I know that we've spoken about that on the podcast before, but Patsy King will always think of her as the governor.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's
and another thing I was thinking, we should wrap up, but obviously people can go to fatgayvegan.com if they want to know what you're up to, and if they want to get details and sign up for the mailing list for the beer fest. We've got the queer open mic happening at the last Sunday of every month. You can find out more information at my Instagram, Josh and the Jumpstarts. And the other thing that I mentioned at the top of the episode about Tiffany and about digital legacies, of course, the thing we didn't talk about was the fact that this podcast will probably be hosted in some shape or form for the rest of humanity's history on Earth, right? Which is such a weird concept to me that it's unlikely, but there could be somebody listening to these words that we're speaking right now in 100 years' time, and we're dead and gone. So, hello, future humans.
And in the words of, was it Superintendent Chalmers, when he says, "And God have mercy on us all."
All right, we should wrap up. But if you're listening in the year 2020, no, what year are we in now? If you're listening in 2126, do hit subscribe.
And if you're sitting on a pile of clothing from like H&M or something,
hit subscribe and leave us a comment.
Okay, well, whatever the opposite of shallow is, that's what I'm about to say now.
Okay, so. Shabai.